welcome back to Celebrity with Nene. So I'm Nene, and today I got Reese here with me, and we will be doing a recap on Love After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 37, and it was titled Red Flag After Red Flag. All right, so I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right on in. We'll start off with Ashley and Travis. Okay, so we see that Ashley, she receives a text from her landlord. And she says that the landlord doesn't want Travis in the home and is giving them 14 days to get out the house. All right. So Ashley, she's walking around the house. She's telling the cameras to get out. She's not communicating very well, so she's kind of being rude and mean to Travis. And as I said, she ran into the bathroom, was telling the camera crew to get out, stop recording her, and all of these things. And so Travis is like, he'll talk to the landlord. He wants to, talk to him. But she's like, no, you're not going to help the situation by talking to him. And just saying things like that. All right. And so then Travis and Ashley end up in a hotel. So Travis calls his mom. So we find out that they have officially been evicted, I guess is what you would say, from the home. Travis said they sold as much of Ashley's belongings as they could, and that got them the money to be able to leave Florida and head up to Virginia. And so while Travis is talking to his mom on the phone, Ashley is down by the pool. And so, he tells his mom, we'll be by later on today or whatever. So I'm not sure if they're looking to go move in with his mom or if they're going to continue to stay at the hotel. I'm not sure. But anyway, he goes down to the pool where Ashley is, and Ashley is saying that, she just wants to lay around the pool and relax. And Travis is telling her that he has to go see his probation officer and he has to do some other things. And she becomes upset. She tells him that she just wants to lay around the pool today. She should be able to do that, and that she's waited around for 4 years hand and foot for him. And so he should be able to, let her just lay around for the day. And she starts getting upset. She starts telling him, he knows what has happened with her business, and that, she's sobbing, but she tends to cry a lot, is Ashley. She cries a lot. She's crying. She's saying, that, it's not her fault. The pandemic happened. Her business has not been doing well. And, so Travis is trying to console her, but she ends up getting even more upset with him and tells him he needs to go make some money. Which I didn't agree with her talking to him like that. The thing about it is that she was probably, well, I can't even say probably. I believe she was in this situation before he got out. She wasn't honest with this man. And so she can't get upset, or at least that's just my feeling on it, that she shouldn't be getting upset with him because he doesn't have a job or he doesn't have money, because you didn't tell him, that he was coming out and that you would need his help financially. So he even said it. He said, I thought I would be getting out of prison and being able to relax a little bit. So that was pretty much it for them this week. Any thoughts on Ashley and Travis?
My thoughts on her is just that, like, it seemed like she did like a 360, because where it left off at was the date. Then as soon as they got to the house, she was all like, oh, go get undressed, get ready or whatever. Then out of nowhere, I guess the landlord shows up. I'm not sure exactly, because I didn't really understand that scene 100%, because it seemed like something was missing.
Yeah, because I saw she was doing something. I want to say she was unpacking a bag or something.
Yeah.
And then I saw her messing with her phone, and then she started saying, well, the landlord just said we've got to leave. So
but it seemed like he was out there, because she kept saying, don't go out there and talk to him. So it's almost like she went from saying, hey, go change and get undressed and you know what I'm saying, like meet me in the bedroom, to the landlord being there and her being run into the bathroom like, don't even talk to me, don't nothing, right. Get out. You too, Travis, you get out. Only person I want in here is a dog. And it's like, so to me, she just flipped on him. But I think maybe, like, I do think he cares about her. I do, because obviously he didn't just up and leave, because at this point he can up and leave. Like,
right.
They not here for me, and I'll go live at home with my mom or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to stay here and be broken and disoriented with you, and you being bipolar. Like he don't have to. You know what I mean? Granted, if he told her in the beginning, or she told him in the beginning, he may not have come because
Mhm.
maybe he didn't want. And I wouldn't blame him. Like who want to get out of jail and jump right into that to being poor
Yeah,
unless
that's a lot.
unless you're ready for it. As soon as I come, you're telling me that that is this way, but when I come out, you getting evicted. You let me see this beautiful house, and we kicked out because you was living above your means and all this. She should have been honest, and because she wasn't honest, it's like she's mad at him. And if you knew you had these problems, why'd you go buy that boat ride? Why'd you know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff
Mhm.
she did, I'm sure he would have rather not have done it, knowing that they was going to be out on the street.
Right.
Um, then when it cuts to them at the hotel, like the mom was like, "How's she handling it?" He's like, "Surprisingly well." And it's like I get it. She's probably in a moment of shock, and she doesn't, you know what I'm saying. So she's not really thinking clearly on the sense of, um, like she probably ignoring her feeling, like she's ignoring what she needs to process, which is I ain't got nothing no more. I've just lost everything. Like she said, she had $40,000 worth of stuff, and she had to sell it off for like 3,000. That's a lot of furniture, like all that furniture in that house. Because I know y'all seen when they zoomed around that house, like she had a house full of stuff, like full. And he was saying they left a bunch of stuff. Plus, they sold whatever they could. So to me, she's possibly just in denial, um, or just in an avoidance mode where it's like, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to do nothing, all I want to do is get in this pool. Sounds crazy, but some people just shut down when it's a real life situation until they're capable of, maybe she just need that day to just shut down and not think about real life for a second. But the man got to go to his probation officer. Like, if nothing else, that pool gonna be there.
Right.
Let the man go to the probation officer. Maybe I can go to the mom's house a little later. Like go to the probation officer, come back, go to the pool, which is stupid. But because she made it seem like she wanted him to join her in the pool, not her just relax in the pool all day. Because it seemed like that wasn't, she was mad at him. That's why she started yelling, "Yeah, go get a job." Well, honey, you need to go get one too. Like it's on both of y'all, really, because your job's not bringing in ends meet. Um, he don't have a job, and if he leave you, you still in the same boat. So it's best for her to not try to rely on him to go get no job, and for her to just get one anyways. Period. As a woman who's trying to date a convict, because what if he can't get one? Then what you gonna do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like she's being super unreasonable, but maybe this is just her reaction to traumatic events. Like maybe she just becomes that person that nobody can deal with, and she's over the top extra, and
Mhm.
I don't know. But this this episode made me really not like her. I feel like he had a cool shoulder for somebody who was thrown into this, and he's trying, even as a convict who don't have to. Because I'm like, me personally, I'd have been like when he left out the house that day when she's like, "Get out." All right, then figure it out yourself, and I'd have left. But I think he loved her, so he wants to try to help her not go through it by herself. And if they can make it, they're gonna make it. But if not, I mean, shoot, at the end of the day, he still might end up leaving her. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, Sean. What are your thoughts on Ashley and Travis?
Are they married?
No.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Reese on the fact that the way she was talking to him when she said leave, I'd have left and not come back. Um, the scene where she was like, "Don't talk to nobody, don't talk to nobody, get out. I only want to be the dog in here." And to me, I thought she was saying that to everybody, the camera crew, all the people. She was saying she was done.
She was.
I don't think it was
Mhm.
just towards don't go talk to the landlord. I think she was telling him not to talk to those people, talk to the camera folks either. But seeing how you don't have a job, you ain't got no money, this is your new source of income. So I wouldn't have been telling those people to get out because
Yeah.
that's you're gonna make your living now. At least until you get a job. And then at the pool, how she was telling him to go get a job. Uh, my thing is that she wasn't honest with him because I'm pretty sure the landlord gave her more than 15 days because he was saying that the landlord just gave us 15 days and we had to leave when he was talking to his mom. Um, so she had plenty of time to prepare for it. And then I don't know, she should probably get a lawyer because the landlord kicks her out without giving her, well, gives her eviction notice, but he keeps the deposit and the rent. So something strange about that. So
Yeah,
she might
so
want to look into that.
yeah, for me, I was wondering. I said, I wonder if she's behind on the rent. And then he added, okay, and you have a felony. You need to go.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
That's what I'm almost wondering.
So that would make more sense to me then because you're supposed to get your deposit back unless you damage the house or like you say you owe on the money or on the rent. Um, then for her to be upset and take it out on him, I get it. When you're frustrated, you take it out on the people that's close to you. But he don't have all of the answers or all of the questions, the situation, so he don't know what's going on, or he didn't knew what was going on from what I can see coming into the relationship. He thinking that only thing he had to do was come out and chill because he said, "Hey, I thought I was going to chill for a while and get my feet back in the swing of things, and then go ahead on and
Mm-hmm.
then go out and look for a job." So she sold him a pipe dream, the pipe bus, and now she wants him to prepare the bus that she had sold him on, the dream, the pipe. So uh, I was him. I'd go see my parole officer like he said he was going to do. And then, convince her to come see moms because, hey, they might have to move in with his mom.
Right.
So it's best for her to get a good relationship with the mother. And yeah, I just didn't like the way she was treating him after everything was what you call it. Because too, that was confusing the whole scene. How she's saying get dressed, get undressed, and get butt naked, and he's under the bed waiting, and it looked like she was packing a bag. Because when I was looking at it, it appeared like they was mad. She was mad with him, and she was telling him to get undressed, and that she was going to just pack her bag and get in the car and leave him in the bed butt naked. So that's what I thought it was happening. But then after all the other stuff that took place,
Oh,
yeah, she was treating. I was like, oh, okay, that's why she's tripping. So that's all I got.
okay.
But I wonder, is it? I mean, is it unless there was something in the clause about a criminal living there? Like if they put that in the lease and she just didn't read the lease, um,
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah.
that I mean that would be the only thing I could think. Because like, what? How could he kick her out? Kick him out in 15 days when there's people who are behind on their rent months, and if you never gave them an eviction notice, they still got their 30 days.
Yeah. So
Well, I
And
that's
guess
what
some of
I'm
them go
almost
past the
wondering.
30
She
days.
may be. I think that's just my thing. That she's behind on her rent some too.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
yeah,
There's a
but you
combination
still
there.
need that eviction notice.
yeah.
She made
Well,
it
it
sound like he gave
depends
her a 15-day notice. Which that don't make
because
sense.
I lived in a place where they only gave you 1 day notice.
Oh shoot, I ain't
Yeah,
never heard that.
because the landlord when I moved in, she was saying that she has history of people not paying their bills,
Hmm.
paying their rent. So she some kind of way set it up in the system, put it in the lease that you only got 1 day notice.
Oh yeah, they put in a lease. So I guess maybe in the lease he has a 15-day eviction. But she made it sound too like they hadn't even hit the 15 days and he was trying to make them leave anyway. So it has to be more to it than what she's sharing with everybody. Because I'm like, okay, that house is like clean and nice. So it's not like she's in there tearing the house up unless there's pieces of the house we can't see, like bedrooms that are just destroyed or something. So
Hmm.
it can't be that he's fearing that the house is like just tore up or something. Like I don't get why he's not giving the 15 days unless it's more to the story. Even if she's behind on the rent, it still starts at that 15-day notice. Like you got to give her 15 days to get out. And then oh, one other thing I know, she had the dog at the pool. Like that's not normal either. Like they just do what they want to do on the show, man. Because most places when you take your pet, they're not allowed in certain areas. And the
Yeah.
pool is usually one of them. You can't take a pet to the pool. Like I'm like, what is really going on?
Now I'm thinking maybe the 15 days was already passed,
Probably
and,
was.
and
He
she
might have
was.
been at the 15, but in that case, you shouldn't have took him out on that boat.
Yeah, because when she was on that boat, she was looking sad, like she was dealing with something.
And she said she was. She said there was something she hadn't told him. But that something you haven't told him should not have been, oh, we're kicked out tonight. Because if that was the case, then when they got home, she should have been like, now pack your stuff up because we actually got to get out of here. But she said they were selling things. So obviously they were there longer than that one day.
Yeah.
Then that's why there's a gap in filming because they probably weren't filming them moving.
Well, she should have asked them for what is it, advancement on the paycheck. Should have asked we.
Oh yeah.
Oh, actually.
That's probably where the money came from. They probably just left that house as is and just moved. Which, as is, that landlord came out good if they did. She had some
Yeah.
nice stuff.
Cause she did make a point. I was like, well, maybe he did want her out, and it probably is in the calls about the felony thing,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, he took advantage of it because he probably had someone else that was willing to pay, and then based off of how she said her lifestyle was, she probably couldn't afford that place anyway.
Oh yeah, she said she was living above her means.
So
Because she said the business been bad for 2 years. So 2 of
right,
these years she been lying to him.
right,
Wow. All right. So the next couple we're going to get into is Cameron and Eris. Okay. So the episode starts with Eris. She's picking up her daughter from the airport. So her daughter has flown in for this wedding. Her daughter's name is Lena. So we get a chance to see Cameron and Lena meet for the first time. They seem to you could tell they've talked before, so she was at least comfortable around him. It seemed like because they talked and they said they FaceTime before. And then I like Lena. She seems like a very well spoken, well behaved child. I do like her. But it was funny when she was cracking the jokes about I was about to call him Derek, about Cameron's height, saying that she was almost as tall as him and he's supposed to be way taller than her. So I did think that that was funny. And so we see them, they go bowling, they're having fun. I like watching them at the bowling alley and they're talking to trash um, to each other and stuff. And Eris explains to us the situation with Lena's father and what happened to him and why he's not around. She also reveals that Lena's only seen him like twice, and that was before she was the age of 2. So her dad has been deported back to whatever country he's from. She didn't say where that was. And so we watched them prepare for the wedding, and then the wedding happens. And the one thing I thought was cute was they did have Lena come up for a moment during the ceremony and be involved in it. So I did think that that was cute. Alrighty, and so yeah, so they got married. We saw Cameron spray his champagne bottle and stuff. It was cute overall. His sisters they spoke, um, but they were nice with the things that they said. All right, so thoughts on Cameron and Eris?
Um, I like them too. I mean, there's nothing really exciting about them,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, there's a couple couples that I think actually could do okay, and I think they're one of them. Because I don't, I mean, outside of her, she seemed like she possibly may be like really jealous and might have some ways about her because from previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it might just still be for his own good. Oh, sorry, for his own good. So I don't know. That's to be determined, I guess, if they make it to the next season or if the more things come up this episode. I mean, this season. If they make it to life after. But the only thing, I mean, I think it was cute, like you said, with the daughter. She like she said, it's weird because she knew him and she knew they were gonna be together, but she thought it'd be a little more time before they got married. But she was like, hey, you know what, it is what it is. I'm just gonna call him Cam. And I'm like, and that's respectable until he prove any other title. Yeah, call him Cam. Can't no stepdad or step parent really be upset about that. Like, if I was a stepmom, I want to be called my name or whatever. I'm cool. I would be cool with it because I'm the stepmom. I'm not the mom, unless you feel you want to call me that. But and I'm sure he's cool with it too. Um, and then as far as the wedding and stuff, I was gonna say her dress did come out cute because it kind of looked kind of see through and like I don't know. I was like I just couldn't tell if it's gonna be as cute as it was like when she was holding it up and showing
Yeah.
it.
Because it looks a little flimsy, like or something when she was holding it up, but it actually ended up being nice
it looked really cute. And then she was saying she's gonna have all this thigh out. I'm like, oh Lord, is he? Like, where'd she get this dress from? You know what I'm saying? Like one of them little shows, them little stores, they got the little hoochie mama clothes, but it actually looked like it was really
the
cute.
bag was a David's bridal bag, but I don't know. They could have.
I ain't never seen. Well, I guess they do have more simple dress because usually David's bridal, you see them like unless it came out of like the bridesmaid section. Usually their dresses are like a little more wedding dressy looking, but it did look like it could be a wedding dress once she put it on. I think it was throwing me out with the little fur on the top and then how it looked kind of see through and cheap. But either way though, it came out really pretty. Her hair, like seeing the lace in the other episodes. So I don't remember if it was in this episode or the last episode, but that lace was like clear as day. Like it was like baby hairs and then lace, and I was like, oh my god, I hope she can fix that before the wedding day. And after they did the makeup, like the lace looked like melted, and I was like, oh thank goodness, because you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm a rookie, and if you see my laces, because I'm a rookie, and I maybe she's a rookie too, but if I'm gonna be on TV, I'm gonna get that junk done. So I'm like, because she's super pretty, super pretty.
She is. I wonder. Well, maybe she just wanted that look. I was like, why is she wearing heels, making her even more taller than him? But hey, I guess. So maybe it didn't her being taller.
Yeah, and then we really don't know how tall she really is. He just really might be that short too. Kind of like Derek. Like I don't really know how tall Monique is, and he's super short compared to her, But either way, no, he said he's like 5'5". I don't know how tall she said, or 5'6" or something. So I don't know how tall she says she is. But yeah, I mean, if she don't mind the dude being super short, like I think if I had a shorter guy, I wouldn't wear heels where I'm just hovering over him because it's just weird. But I mean, if he cool with it and secure with it, like he seemed like he is, then yeah. So I was just happy to see like the wedding came, and then I was like, I almost at first I was like, what in the world when they brought the little cutout board, but then I was like, that's pretty cool because he didn't get to see before the dad died.
Yeah, the dad.
But no lie, at first when they came out with it, I'm like, is that her dad? Because she said her dad couldn't be there and stuff. And I'm like, is she gonna walk down the aisle with that board? That's what I was thinking. But then he said his dad died and he was in jail apparently or prison, so he couldn't be at the funeral. And he was telling his dad like, "Oh, I'm gonna see you, so don't worry about it." And obviously he didn't make it out in time. But I thought that was actually really cute. Probably, I don't know how I would have felt about having that cut out there, but it was cute. And the fact that the woman she had told the little girl to come up and be part of the ceremony, that was really cute too. Because you want her to feel part of it, especially when it's rushed like this. Like, so to feel like you're a part of it, even though it's too fast, way too fast. They did the bowling thing, they had fun, but actually having to do the wedding and then not feel like this man's taking my mom and this is happening too quick. Like the fact that she's allowing her to be part of each little process. And I hope she continues to do that too as they go through, every other process afterwards, because it's still gonna be like 60 days before he's even allowed to apply to go there. So as long as she keeps letting the daughter be a part of it, I think she'll be okay. She might even call him dad eventually. Yeah. But for now, letting her be a part of it because she's a smart little girl. So I like that part. But that's all I got.
All right, Sean. Any thoughts?
Well, first of all, the cutoff, I saw that, and at first I did thought too that maybe that was her dad, and then when he did explain that it was his, and then how Reese had went into the details about how he explained about the missing the funeral and stuff. My thoughts was I would tell my kids, if I'm not here physically, do not put a cutoff of me at your wedding. If I'm dead, I'm dead. Let me move on. My photo being there, don't do it. I'll make sure I put it in my will too.
Okay. In the will.
That's right. So they can't do nothing about it. Now the scene when the daughter came up, I was like, well, if that was the mother and his ideal, then that's cool. And I was like, yeah, I can respect that. That's nice. But if it was that preacher's idea. And I was like, well, did they really want that? So if they all had planned for that to happen, then yeah, that was a nice moment. I agree that was a nice moment. Um, Now the wedding dress, when I first saw the wedding dress, I was thinking, hey, that dress looks small. So um, I didn't know no better. And the far as the laces go, I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention to her hair. Um, I don't even know it was her because one of those ladies had a nice little baby hair thing going on the side, but I don't remember which one it was.
It was
Um,
her.
oh, it was her. Oh, okay. Then I guess that's pretty much it. Because yeah, it was nice that they went bowling and interacted with the daughter, and hopefully, as the marriage goes on, that she don't feel left out, and she don't push her daughter away.
Right.
'Cause, people can tend to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
also the daughter also that she be mature about it to and understand that her mom uh and her husband is going to need time alone and time for themselves, so hopefully she don't be a menace in their relationship like I seen with the other kids. Um so she seems mature for her age, the little girl does. Then that was the whole name thing. Personally, if I'm in a relationship with someone with a kid, their kid are not going to be calling me by my first name or my nickname. Now, if they wants to call me something, I understand that they don't have to call me dad or father because I'm not, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
replace their dad or their father, but I will be there to step in and be a father to them if in need. So they can, I something, but they can't call me by my first name. They can call me Mister or Uncle, but they can't call me Sean. Or yeah, I don't. They ain't calling me by my first name because to me, my name is when a kid call me by my name in my mind, that kid is equal to me, and that kid think they're equal to me by calling me by my name. So if you're my friend, and hey, we cool and dandy, but if you're underage, then nah, you ain't gonna call me by my name. Now, seeing how I'm a religious person, they can call me deacon, you know, all that there. That's nice. You can call me brother, but you ain't gonna just call me plain old Sean.
Okay, I understand that.
But some of
Because
those are
I
weird.
myself, I don't like to be called by my first name, not by like a quote unquote a child.
But
Um, Now a step kid, that
that's what I'm saying. A
would
stepkid.
be a little different. You know, I think I would possibly be okay with it, but if it is, that's a hard one. If the relationship, like right now, she just became your stepdaughter, but she only had like 2 days to get over. I don't know. Within 2 days, I'd be okay with you calling me by my first name. But I think if I've known you for a while or whatever, maybe I would be okay with her first name. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, I want the miss in front of my
Yeah.
name when they
Mm-hmm.
talk to me.
Maybe
Or
I'm
if
different.
you know me by my nickname, you can call me by my nickname, but you can't call me just
But
straight up.
she, but she was calling him Cam, which would be his nickname. His name is Cameron.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought his name was Cam. But yet
Mm-mm.
still, regardless of that, not gonna call me by my first name.
I just feel like just my own personal debate on that. Like just that Mister and Miss takes the personal out of it. Like to me,
But
like yes ma'am, no ma'am, that's cool. But I'm
that's
saying, but
where the respect comes from.
Yes,
Is
it
calling you.
is.
because to me, it's like putting us on equal terms.
Yeah.
Because I'm
No,
Like
to
I
coming
don't
me,
into
like
not
for
on
your
equal
house.
kids
terms.
Yeah, because I'm
to.
coming into your house. Because
Yeah.
that technically is the
And
mom
I'll
and the
correct
daughter.
a child that
And I'm
calls me
coming
by
into
my
your house.
first name.
But
I'm
that's
like,
different when it's not your. That's different when it's just a kid versus your step kid. Because it's like
But that
to
step
me,
kid is now my kid.
if you call me Miss Reese, my whole like the whole time you're mine, I don't feel like we never bonded to a point that you even consider me like a parent. Like I'm always just that Miss Reese, and it's like to me that's weird. Like because that's something I would expect from like a random kid or the neighbor's kid or something like that. But somebody who I'm supposed to be a parental parent or a mom too. Like I don't know, cause like I call my stepdad by his name, And for me, it wasn't a respect thing, but it just was weird to be like, if I called him Mr., his first name, and so the whole time I feel like, where's your point even being? I don't know. Maybe
I think whatever the comfort level and whatever relationship you have with
yeah,
the
and I
child.
think and it depends on the person because I would rather be called Reese or mom, but I feel like I wouldn't even want to be called mom right away. Like, let's get to that point because I'm not your mom. I'm your stepmom, but I'm not really like. Let's get to that point.
So
But
you don't want to be called mom, but you want to be called Reese. Now, to me, I don't want to be called dad because I'm not your father and I'm not going to take your dad's place. Now, but you're not going to call me Sean because of the fact of, like I said, what Nina had pointed out, respect. Now, I'm going to respect you and not make you call me dad because I need to earn that right to become your father, but you have to earn the right to, you have to still give me my respect, because to me, you coming in, I'm coming in to your life and I'm in your life and I expect for you to I expect for you to treat me like a father. But in order for that to happen, I have to earn your trust in that. And to me, the fact that you calling me Sean is like we're friends. That's something my friends call me, not my children.
so what happens? Would it be that you never earned the respect as a step parent if they never call you dad, but they always called you Mr. Sean for the whole time they know you, like 20 years in a row, they still tell me Mr.
But
Sean.
but just because they call me Mr. Sean don't mean that they don't respect me as a stepfather or they don't respect me as a father figure. Because that might be showing that sign. To me, they still showing me respect. Now, to me, they're calling me just straight
Well,
up
they
Sean.
showing you the respect you ask. I mean, they showing you respect.
Right. But then to me, they just calling me Sean. I don't see the respect in that. I see that as a child disrespecting me.
I got you.
And I don't have a good name for a stepkid to call me until I earn the mother father because I never wants to be called their father because to me, that's not fair to their father.
But see, I don't see that
Because
either.
I feel
Because
like as long as it's coming from the child, like if the child is okay with, saying my father or whatever, I would be okay with that. But it's that
especially
would
in
have to
her
come from
case.
the child. I wouldn't push
No, I wouldn't either.
for a stepchild to call me mom. Now, if they felt okay with calling me mom, heck, I know this is not the same, but some of my son's friends, they call me mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say anything. I'm cool with it, whatever. I don't correct them because I feel like they still kind of showing me they're showing me respect still. I feel like by calling me mom. But I never asked them to say that. But I
But
also
then
haven't stopped them from saying it either.
there's also like in her case, she didn't grow up with a dad. So if he becomes dad, like it's not a disrespect to the dad, because I'm sure if she ever saw him, she would still say dad. But even me right now at my age, I've already time saying dad to my dad. Like I have to push the word out because I ain't grew up with a dad. And then my stepdad was his first name.
Yeah,
But
I know with my son, when I first started dating my late husband, he called him Mr. And then, um,
he eventually said just
yeah, he eventually
first
just
name.
started calling him by his first name. But he was cool with that. I don't know if
Yeah.
they had a discussion. I'm not sure. I didn't in the middle of that. I was just like, "Are you okay with that?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I was like,
And
"Okay."
see, and he may have been like me, who like I'm okay with you taking that off because to me, if we're never gonna move to the mom title, which I would be okay with that if it's not my real child, but like just as long as you tell people like it's my stepmom, not that's just a girl. But I think it depends on the person. So I guess if for you, Sean, if it was like one of them things where you would rather be called Mr. Sean for their entire life and they grow up and they're like, that's my stepdad, Mr. Sean, or that's Mr. Sean, whatever. But I don't agree with uncle. I don't agree with brother. Yes, your brother in Christ, but deacon
I mean,
in
some people do
but
call
in
their
church, but I be feeling like that's weird because even if I was married to a pastor, I'm not gonna be calling you pastor at home. I'm gonna
but
call
you
Well,
you
I
pastor
wouldn't.
but to
I
me that's
but
a
wouldn't.
work title. So out of respect in the church, but outside of church, like unless that's the relationship we have, like To me, that's weird. And then if you saying uncle, that's confusing.
Well, I know kids. There's quite a few kids that call their mom's man or whatever significant other uncle.
That's weird. I'm sorry, that's weird. That's my uncle. Like that sound like some old. My mom's dating my uncle. That sound like some craziness. Like to me, that's weird. That's confusing and that's weird. Like I wouldn't even want to tell my friends if I was a kid, like, oh, this uncle such and such. Like, wait, your mom's brother or your dad? You know, because you got to explain that. Kids ain't gonna just roll past that. You ain't gonna be like, oh, that's Uncle such and
I
such. That's
think
Uncle
I
Sean.
think they more so do it because they don't like saying their mom has a boyfriend, kind of
I feel
thing.
like the parents do that mess because they don't want to admit that that's their boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I think that's weird.
The whole Mister, if the kid called me Mister for the
Mister
rest of
is
their life,
cool.
does not
That's fine.
mean they do not see me as a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if the relationship grows to the point to where they call me dad on their own, like Nene was saying, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I'm not going to force the issue.
Yeah, no, that I agree. I
Yeah,
would
so
not
I
ever
just want
force
to
the
put that
mom
out
or
there. I
dad
don't want
thing.
nobody to think that I would have a problem with my stepkid calling me father. But I will make them know that
They're not gonna call you your first name.
right. As long as we understand, because I'm not there to, as a father. Now, all dads are not good dads, and all dads are not deadbeat dads. But as a father, I don't want my kids calling anybody father but me,
That part, yeah. Because
because that's how I want people to treat me. I would not do the same, because it says, "Do unto others as you expect others to do
mm-hmm.
unto you." So that's what I would have a problem with. Now we come in and the
Father,
kid
dad, like you
calls
saying
me
like father
father.
or dad, or you
If the
saying
kid,
like period?
period. If the kid decides to call me that, then that's fine. Then I would appreciate that, and I would accept that, and I would not have a problem with that. But I would not force it upon any child
Mm.
or tell any child this is what you need to call me. You call me Mister until you feel comfortable in the relationship. Because the other thing about it is, what if me and the mom don't work out? You know,
Then
that
you become
child.
nobody. You
Yeah,
become a nobody.
no, but he been calling me dad.
It doesn't matter. Like when you're
But
a step parent, that's one of the things. That's one of the
no,
consolation
because
prizes is that you don't get nothing.
the kid itself is gonna have that's still on the kid. That's not
It
on me
is.
or the other body. Because that
It,
kid, if that kid accept me as a father figure and I'm out the picture, then that kid probably still call me dad. That's my dad, because my real dad wasn't around. He treated me more like a dad, so this is my dad. So
possibly, but if that's the relationship because the dad's not around, but if you're saying like the dad is around and dad's saying I don't like that, chances are the kid's probably gonna cut you off just like they could. Because if that's their real mom, then they're gonna side with the real mom. They're not gonna necessarily probably side with the stepdad. But if they did, then that would be between like you and the kid. But you would know like I'm not your parent anymore because I'm not married. I was only your parent because we're married. That's that line that there's no blood, there's no nothing. Like I was your parent. I took care of you. I supported you because we were married. But now that we're not married, then the dad's wishes definitely are granted. Like if they don't want them calling them that, then they should go back to Mr. Sean. In that, in my opinion, on that, at least in publicly,
well,
behind closed doors, whatever. You can't stop that.
yeah,
But
and publicly, if once the kid called me father or dad, that's it. That's no going back, regardless of the relationship between me and the mother,
I think
because
there
it's the
is.
relationship between me and the father. I mean, it's between me and me and that child now.
But I
It has
think there
nothing to
is.
do with the mother or how the father feels. It's all about what that kid feels.
But I
So
think, but if it's one of those things where they are saying it because it's because you're their father at that time or mother at that time, if they want to go backwards because now you're no longer their father
if
by
they
marriage
wants to
or
go,
blood,
yeah,
and
if
they
they
want to
wants
say,
to
yeah,
go,
I'm gonna go back to calling you Mr. Such because now you are Mr. Sean, but it doesn't change our relationship. It's just that you're not my dad no more, so I can't say that because my mom maybe moved on and got married
again,
again.
I get what you're saying, and I want to make sure I understand. As long as they understand the kid,
Yeah.
if the kid wants to call me dad and me and the
Mhm.
mom is no longer together, then the mom
Mhm.
don't have the right to tell that child that call that man dad anymore,
I
because
think
that's
the
their
mom
kid.
does have a right to say that,
But it's still up to that kid, because that kid doesn't accept me as their father.
chances are she probably if it's a kid, she cut him off. Like you ain't gonna be talking to him. But if it's a
No, I've known
older,
cases. I've seen cases where the stepfather was a whole lot better than the real dad, and the kid still say that was my father, the stepfather,
they can
even
say
after
it,
the
yeah.
relationship was over.
But if it's a kid, I'm saying like you would have to respect the mom's wishes too on that. I feel like.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, but that's out of respect for the blood parents. Like, yes, you were here for us, but we're no longer together. So, like I got friends that I have a godson that nominated me to be his godmom. If either one of his parents says I don't want you to do that, if any of my god kids' parents say I don't want you to be the godmom no more, regardless, I love all of my god kids. I love them to death, all of them. But I would respect any of them. They said we don't want you around. I'm not a blood parent. I was nominated to be a godparent, but if you take that title from me, it'll crush me because it almost did with the oldest guy kid. Like his dad was like, "Oh well, you want to talk to the parent, you want to talk to him no more." But the mom said I still could talk to him, so I was like, "Well, when he's with you, I'll talk to him then." But if he pushed it and said, "Don't talk to my son when he's with the mom," I probably would have respected it. I would have told the mom like what happened and go from there. But if both parents like leave our kid alone, like you kind of have to respect that. But 9 times out of 10, if a kid sees you as still like that dad, and it's like, well, no matter what, you're gonna be my dad, then I don't think the other parent would probably be that hard on being like, oh, don't do that, unless they trying to push a new stepdad. Because really and truly, like if you raise them, then whatever. But I don't know. I'm just thinking if they're a kid, it's easy to like stop that communication. Because 9 times out of 10, you paying the phone bill, so how you gonna call? Is all I'm saying.
Okay. So that goes back to the original point. Call me Mr. Sean. We won't have this problem later on down the road.
But even as a Mr. Sean, they still might still look at you as a dad.
No, but they call me Mr. Sean, so I don't have to worry about them calling me dad anymore.
Okay.
All right, so let's jump on into Derek and Monique. There was a lot with them this week, but it's been a lot with them lately. Okay. All right. So, um, we see Monique. She's in her hotel room. She's calling her sister. She's telling her about the car chase that they went into last week. I know we skipped last week, but last week there was a car chase with Monique and Derek. All right. And so Derek reveals to us that he knows who was following them. So he goes on to describe that when he was in prison, he was basically dating a, a correctional officer. She didn't work at the prison he was at. She worked at another one, and he was introduced to her by his brother. And so he's saying that, that they were kind of having a thing or whatever, but for him, it wasn't serious. But for her, apparently, it was serious. And so he said he could tell by, the people in the car, he could recognize them. And he knows that it was her. So he actually ends up calling her, right? So he calls the woman. She reluctantly admits that she was following him. And she also says to him that he led her on. And so, then he started like, well, are you going to continue to follow me when you see me out and stuff? And she was like, all I want to do is just have a conversation with you. All right. So we know that's her. She wants to talk to him about what's going on. And he did ask her, he was like, did you see who I was with? And she was like, it was a girl. There was a female, a woman driving the car. And so, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they actually talk, and if they talk, like what is the talk about? Is she just going to confront him for leading her because he led her on? What is this conversation going to be about? That's what I want to know. If she's going to ask, and if she's going to even ask him questions about Derek. So we find out that Monique has switched the car in the hotel. And Derek, after he's done talking to that lady, he decides to go to a jewelry store, and he goes to a jewelry store and starts picking out an engagement ring for Monique. His brother meets him there, and so his brother is trying to talk him out of picking out a ring for Monique.
Both of them was his brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them was his brothers. Okay. But one of them was really like, don't do it. Do not do it. And so we see that he did put down a deposit on the ring before the brother came up. And so yeah, so Well, he's thinking about marriage. And he's saying that, hopefully, he sees a future with her and that hopefully that'll keep her mouth closed and stop her from, you know, doing some of her extraness. All right. And so that was Derek and Monique basically this week. Any thoughts on Derek and Monique?
So he only wants to marry her to keep her mouth shut, basically.
Well, not this. I think he's saying that because, she has put it in his ear that she does want to be married. He did say that. Um, so he was like, maybe this will keep her mouth shut. So I think he's saying hopefully this will stop her from, potentially
So she been talking
continuously
about
asking
marriage.
for a ring.
So she been asking about marriage. They've been talking about marriage the whole time.
I guess so.
He says she keep asking for a ring.
Oh, okay.
But I
Well,
did think it was cute. He was like, look at my, no, that's a Cartier watch. That Cartier watch he always has on.
Yeah,
He
something
said
that
he
matches
wants a ring to match his watch.
the
I was like,
infamous
oh.
Cartier watch.
Mm-hmm. So I did like that part that he was trying to get them to be able to match a little bit.
mm, yeah, that was neat. The brothers came in and it's like, no, don't do it. Just go here by the chain and say get a chain. But a boy was saying that they was talking for 2 years,
Uh huh.
in a relationship for 2 years, or they just talking.
They've
In a
been in a
relationship.
relationship for 2 years.
So well, if there's in
Oh,
a
he was just
relationship
there.
for 2 years and she was there, then I said she deserved the ring. But get the ring because you're in love with her. Get the ring because you wants to be with her. Don't get the ring to just shut her mouth up. Because it looks like that's not going to work because she's starting to call them and they about to take the tracker off.
Yeah,
So and he wants to go spend time with his family and she don't like their family or she don't trust the
they've
family.
had some issues going on this season.
So that's
They've
not a good,
threatened her a lot.
so then that's not a good thing because you want to marry someone that's don't get along with your family and you wants to still be involved with your family. So I was him. I just get the chain. But unless if he really do love her, then yeah, I say go ahead and marry the woman. But if not, if you're not doing it out of love, just get a chain and call it a day.
Okay.
That's
Oh, you done?
yeah, I'm done.
Oh. Um. So first of all, the fact that he had her driving erratically, and he knew who it was. I feel like that's dead wrong. Because at the end, when she was driving in a high speed chase, I think it was like I don't know if it continued into this episode or if it was last episode,
It was last
but
episode.
but like in the last one, she was crying at one point, like I don't know what to do, and I can understand that. I probably would have done the same thing. Like they tell me turn right, turn right. I'd be like, look, I don't want to do this. Like we can't pull over for me to switch. You telling me do this, you telling me do that. I want to do this. I'm scared. Just call the police, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I would freak out too. So I get it. So for him to walk past it like it was nothing, me personally, my spidey senses would say, "Who was it then? You're too calm. I'm scared. I'm thinking like
Well,
we could be in danger."
he's leading her to believe it was his sisters.
Yeah, but he also so she's saying, "So do you think it's your sisters?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I mean, I don't know." But he let her believe it, but he still doesn't necessarily confirm that that's who it is because he knows that's not who it is. He doesn't confirm that it's him. He just lets her believe it because she was like, I think it's your sisters, and he didn't say, "Oh, I don't think it's my sisters." So that's why she's running with that. But my thing is that you brushing over it so easy when we were actually in danger. You know what I'm saying? Like this is somebody chasing us down a highway. We could have crashed or anything. Could have killed camera crews, security crews, everybody, us. So I just feel like that right there, and the fact that he knew who it was the whole time, or at least had an idea. I think that's messed up on his part. I'm sure they worked through that because she's seen it. You know what I mean? She obviously watched the episode, so and I think they're still together. But the part that I just didn't like that is he just brushes over it, and then he's like, she's like, she want to get a new hotel, want to get this and that. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, when she moved to a new hotel, it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's good exercise for you. I'm like, no, I'm not. I would have told him I'm gonna leave your stuff in the car though. I'm gonna bring my stuff up. That's good exercise for me, my stuff. Good exercise for you, be you bring your own stuff. But that just was me being like, no, he didn't. When he said that's good exercise for her to bring all of the stuff up, when obviously she packed everything, loaded the car up, got a new car, unloaded that car, loaded a new car, drove to a new hotel while you out here doing who knows what. I know what he was doing, but I don't fully trust him because he also said he wanted to see what she was talking about. That part was very confusing. Okay, so when he talked to the chick, the security guard, I mean, I'm assuming they warped her voice because if not, they're warping her voice, right? You think?
I don't know. That was something I was thinking too. Like her voice was real deep.
It's real manly. I was like, ugh. But so I want to know what she looked like. But anyways, because he still was like, I'm trying to see if she's still talking about the stuff she was talking about, like how she felt about it. So I'm like, so are you
Oh,
trying
she
to?
told him she's got something of his. So I think he's gonna go see her because she said, I don't know if you caught that. She was like, I still got that thing for you.
But
Like I got something for you. Or something to that effect, she said.
I felt like the way his response was, I want to see if she's still like feeling me, or the way she said she felt about me. I want to know if that's what it is. Like that's what I took it as. Maybe I misheard it because he was like, "But I'm gonna get the ring." Because at first I was proud of him because it sounded like he dismissed her, but then when he got off the phone, he kind of said like, "But I want to know if she's still feeling like she was feeling and whatever." That's why I was like, maybe I watched it twice because I was like, "Am I confused?" And I still feel confused on that. Because I was like, the way he responded is almost like either there's missing pieces on that, or um he just trifling. But I don't know. I don't
He
know.
dismissed her. I will give him that. I kind of I had heard her say something about she has something. So that's what I was almost thinking. I didn't look at it like, oh, he wants to see if she still has feelings.
That's
I
what I
was
took it
taking it
as.
as he was wanting to know or wanting to get whatever it is she has for him.
Oh, I took that a different way. I took it as want to see if she still got what if she claimed what she had for him is still there. I don't know. So
I
regardless,
took it
whatever
as
the case is with them,
I
because
took it as that she had something for him, and he wants to make sure that she still got it. See if
oh
she
okay,
got it, so he can come get it.
okay. So I took it wrong maybe. Um, as far as the ring, um, I don't think it's not wrong with that because they've been together 2.5 years. She held him down, like he said, and I do appreciate the fact that regardless, because his brother didn't say it, but I know what his brother was trying to get at when
Yeah.
he was like, "But I want to marry her," and he's like, "Oh no, but don't." I know it probably has it's influenced by what the sister has said and with pictures and things like that. For whatever reason, they feel like she's not good enough. But there's a reason this man thinks she's good enough. Whether it's she's
Right.
great in bed, whether it's like he said, she's been loyal to him. He knows she wasn't out there and cheating on him. He knows that when it comes down to it, like she got his back, she's for him. Based off of the fact that she did a high speed chase without knowing who it was, because you know what I'm saying, in his city, knowing that he could know who it is, maybe he said that's somebody who'll ride for me. And if he feels that he wants to be with her, regardless on whatever else, then I feel like you shouldn't try to talk him out of it because you ain't never seen him get married. Okay, he's 30, going on 30. He's young. Like if he's never been married, that's not new. There's people older than him that ain't been married. So don't try to deter him like, oh, well, you don't know her, you just met her. But they've been talking for all this time. I've seen marriages with people who met and got married within like 2 weeks that lasted longer than people who are married for 30 years and still got divorced. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't put a timeline. Or people who dated for 6 years, got married and got divorced. I dated my ex 3 years, was married 3 years, got divorced. So it's like you can't put a timeline on like saying like, oh well, that's not enough time because me and my ex weren't. We were face to face for like 3.5 years, and we still got divorced. So, and there's people who've been together longer than that, dating and married, and still got divorced. So you can't really put a timeline on it because, like I said, there's people I know whose marriage is still going. Not to say it's perfect, but it's still going. They only knew each other for like 6 weeks before they got married. So, in that sense, I feel like the brothers are wrong. But based
I
off of
mean,
what
with them, there has been a lot of speculations because people on the internet have had a field day with it, and the kicker is that it's always about her weight.
But see,
That's
but
what
that's the
seems
thing.
to
It's like
be.
that doesn't matter because, like, literally, a skinny girl could like do whatever to him, and they could get married, and it don't work. So, like, you're saying like this man can't love her, which is not true because
Yeah.
to me, he's sleeping with her.
And then they keep saying,
They
acting
walk
as
around
if
holding hands,
he,
like.
yeah, and then they're acting like he is out of her league. And I'm like, she's working. She was the one that was free. He was the one in prison. I'm not trying to say anybody in prison is not a good person or couldn't be a great catch, but it's like you guys are attacking her and saying all these things because of her weight.
But maybe he's into that because I've seen
Yeah,
dudes who like were
he might
into.
be a chub chaser.
That's what I'm saying, and I've seen some dudes who we've seen some. Not to say that the person was a catch, but you look at the couple and it's like that. That's super odd, and it's like that's what he liked though. I don't know if you know. I'm talking about. I'll tell you offline, but
I, I think I know exactly
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, from back in the day. But it was like when you look at them, you're like, are you serious? Like that dude, even though they didn't end up staying together long term, but he loved her when he was with her. Like you couldn't tell him that she wasn't fine. And there was things outside of her weight that I was like, but you know what? But then when I eventually got to know her and saw how they were, I'm like, you know what? I'm judging based off of appearance, not based off of y'all's true feelings. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's not for me to judge. Like if a person likes somebody and can, to me, you could be the ugliest person in the world to me, but you could be the most beautiful person to somebody else. And is anybody to judge that? And that's
Right.
where I feel like we fall flat as a society. You make people who are insecure or think that they're ugly feel that they're ugly, and it's like you don't deserve somebody that looks good. But to me, who says he looks good? Because there's plenty of people I'm sure that feel like his little short stuff don't look good to them. They're like he's skinny, he's short, he's whatever. That don't look good to them. They want somebody taller, darker, thicker. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's to each person. You know what I'm saying? Now, does it look strange sometimes? Yes, but then you could look at like older people who date younger people. You can look at um a skinny man who dates a bigger woman or a skinny woman who dates a bigger man. It's all the same. Like you know what I'm saying? It's people's personal preference. And that's the part about this show that with this couple in particular that actually annoys me because when you look at because they're like she's insecure. Why do you think she's insecure? Because of her weight? Because to me, you look at some of the other
She doesn't
couples.
show an insecurity,
Well,
especially
they
with her clothing. It seems like she's very secure in herself with
no,
her
but they
clothing.
saying it because she's
But
like, let me see your phone, let me see this, let me see that. What they fail to realize is that happens with a skinny woman. Because look at some of the other couples.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, there's red flags and insecurities in almost every one of the couples on the show.
very, very true.
And there's only one big skinny couple on the show. So when you look at that, it's like y'all are basing it because of people's personal preference that they don't like how she looks. I don't think she's ugly. I don't think she deserves an ugly man because you feel like she's ugly. Because who's to say that anybody else is pretty? So you deserve, you know what I'm saying? And again, who says he looks good? He looks good to her for sure. She's with him. He looks good to other people, but to me, some of the prettiest people or some of the finest people, like I remember I met a dude who was like super fine. Well, when I got to know him, I was like, he ain't for me. And it was actually me that he tried to holler at first, but then he was compatible with my friend. And then nothing ever happened. So like I was like, you go ahead and have him, before anything. Like we exchanged numbers, but then I was like, no, actually, y'all two like getting along. You go ahead and talk to him. And I was never jealous. Dude was fine. The more I got to know him while he was dating her, the more I didn't care for him. I was like, his personality is crappy, but she liked him. So I accepted him as a person. But I was like, dude, his personality is terrible. Like, ugh. And he wasn't as cute to me once I saw his true personality. So you can have the ugliest person, but when you got a personality on you, that can make the ugliest person be, to me, the most beautiful person in the room. So if anything, for anybody watching this mess, man, quit judging that girl and quit saying she don't deserve him, because maybe he don't deserve her. She stood down. She was his down B for however many years, 2.5 years while he was in jail. There's plenty other men, I'm sure, who would have hit that, did whatever. She stayed faithful to him. There's plenty other men who would have dated her. She stayed faithful to him. So does she deserve the ring when she held him down and did a high-speed chase and all that? Yes, she does.
Okay.
So I hope they work out. Just
Yeah.
for the sake of the naysayers, I hope they work out. And two, I think they go to the next season too. They obviously complete this one.
This one's almost done, so I guess we'll
Yeah,
see.
but they showed the preview, and that you see her in there. You didn't see that?
I saw the preview, but I must have maybe blinked when she came on or
The
something.
only people I saw from this season that went to the next season is her
Cameron and
and him.
Eris.
Who?
I saw Cameron and Eris.
Them? Oh, I didn't see them actually. I saw her and him, and I saw the other couple that ended the last season that went into this one. I saw them too.
Okay.
So they go into the next season as well.
All right,
Michael?
so they're our next couple, Justine and Michael.
There
All
you
right.
go. Them.
So we see that Michael is at home with the kids, and the kids, they're playing hard and kind of loud. It turns out, who knew that he had like he designed
Shoe
shoes,
deal.
and so he's trying to take calls about his business, and the kids, they're being rambunctious in the background, and they even start a little fighting. So he's like, he goes in there and he talks to them, and then he's like, I'm gonna go call your mom. And so he does call her. He's asking her, like, when are you coming home? The kids are a bit much right now. And she's telling him, he needs to get used to it. That's how kids are and stuff. And so she tells him that, she's not feeling well and right now she's picking up some medicine. But she also picks up a pregnancy test as well. Okay. And so she comes home and her and Michael, they're talking, and Michael's telling her he wants her to quit her job and help him out with his business. But she's just like, no, she wants to keep her job. So then she ends up showing him, they go into the bathroom together, and she shows him that she got some pregnancy tests. And so the scene actually ends with she's shutting the door saying she's about to take the pregnancy test. And so that was pretty much Justine and Michael this week. Any thoughts on them?
When does this end?
Soon, because the new season starts in February. It said February. It was a February date.
Okay. So maybe this next one might be the last one.
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm.
They're gonna try to drag this out then.
Oh, the pregnancy thing.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're gonna try to drag it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go ahead since I'm talking.
And they like dragging out stuff with Justine and Michael. So
yeah, because she ended the last one. Now they're gonna be like, probably what's gonna happen is they'll be like, and the results are, and it's gonna end. They're gonna pick the next one up with negative, and you're like, seriously, y'all drag that out for that? Because any woman know, like, just because you sick and stuff doesn't always mean you're pregnant. So her taking the test, this is all like, you know what I'm saying? That's making everybody like, dang, did she get pregnant? She get pregnant? She could be. Because
yeah. What threw me off was when she was talking about her throat was hurting, because your throat normally.
Yeah, you sound you got COVID or
yeah,
whatever. I don't know if you can say that on here. Sorry. You might have a flu. So with them, I do feel like, okay, if you're gonna work from home, the kids are there. y'all need to figure out some sort of way to like tell the kids, hey, I'm on a call, go upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Or you go upstairs, move your work call to upstairs, something, but it has to be something that y'all gonna figure out. Like, while I'm working at home, how do you want me to handle your kids? Because I feel like he's being cautious because they're not his kids. But he is a stepfather, and I ain't saying like he need to be like, go get up there, nothing like that, nothing crazy. You still a new stepdad. But the kids is being rambunctious, really rambunctious. So there has to still be some happy medium when an adult is doing things where the kids need to be quiet. And she was like, you just need to get used to it. But no, you can just kind of set some sort of, I don't know. Y'all can come to some sort of like, hey, when he's on a call, y'all just go upstairs. Or hey, baby, when you in the call, it's not a video call, go upstairs, take the call. He could have did that easily. Because the kids were downstairs rolling around the couch. Because to me, they're all too old to be doing that still. But maybe the two boys. But then I feel like the girl should have took some control too. Because ain't she like a senior in high school or a college student or something?
Something.
I don't know. I feel like she should have caught on that. Oh, he's an important call, y'all. Come on, let's go upstairs. Something. But if nobody caught it and he's scared to talk to them, then go upstairs. That's what I would have did. I was like, you know what? Screw you. I'm going upstairs. Don't come up there. I'm upstairs. But I agree with her, unless there is a sort of insurance that you, because there has to be something for people who are business owners that they can still get some sort of insurance. So if he wants her to stay home and work for him, then he needs to be making sure he's providing her with some sort of insurance, because who wants to quit their job if they think there's a possibility of being pregnant? So like she said, what if I'm pregnant? I need to stay where I got benefits. And that's true, because um, I was watching something with like one of the people who a YouTuber that got shot. Like he was saying he didn't have insurance and he wasn't getting the proper care, or it was just crazy expensive because he didn't have any kind of insurance. So with that being said, she's saying smart things. If I'm pregnant, I'm not gonna just quit my job and work for you and I don't have nothing. So that's something she needs to sit and talk to him. Like, okay, if I quit, what are we gonna do if I'm pregnant? Are we gonna pay full price for everything, or is there some sort of route? You know what I'm saying? And look into that about insurance. Um, Secondly, she probably needs to tell her kids, like, hey, if he's on a work call, take that plan upstairs to the rooms, or quiet down, because this is still a source of income for the family. Regardless, like he's trying to be a breadwinner, you gotta like not mess that up, like period. I feel like this week that really was like the biggest thing, like her taking the pregnancy test and him not being able to handle those kids.
Yeah, that was it for them this week.
And I think he probably can't handle, because he's not a primary caregiver though, like, or a primary parent. Like she's a primary parent. What were they doing before she was there?
Before he was there?
Or before he was there, was the daughter watching him?
Probably.
So then maybe he just needs to like know, like, okay, the daughter was watching them. This is what they do downstairs. Go upstairs. Like, you're not on a video call. That's how I see that. But or tell them to go upstairs to their room. There's nothing wrong with telling the kids go play in your room. Because first of all, the couch ain't a place to do that anyways, to be real with you. So
all right, any thoughts, Sean?
Yeah. When I had said earlier about the kid, uh, the first child at the marriage, and she seems so mature compared to other children, I was comparing them to these kids. They uh, respect, because I saw a clip where the boy said that he would never call him dad. Now, to me, that's because the simple fact that ain't your father, yeah, and then that's a boy being a boy sometimes, because some boys are mature. But in that case, he's not. He's don't want him, and he's not going to accept him. And when the father, not the father, excuse me, when the what's his name, Michael,
Mm-hmm.
when he came in the room and he did tell him the kids that he was on a call, y'all need to calm down. The boy, the young man, said, with who? With why? All these questions. So if he would have told those kids to go upstairs, I'm pretty sure because he do not see him as a father and he refused to accept him as a father figure or whatever, he would be rebellious about the situation. I don't think he would be mature. Now, I didn't think about the fact that, yeah, Michael himself could have went upstairs and that'd have been solved that problem at that moment. But they do need to address that issue. And
that they're not listening to him, right?
right, right. So the
Because I
mom,
didn't care for the way they were questioning. Well, the one was questioning like, "Well, who are you on the phone with?" and la la.
I
That's
didn't
none
even
of your
catch that
business.
part. I probably be
correct.
more mad if I caught that part.
Yes, he did address that. I didn't like that either. And to me, that kind of goes along with the whole Mister. Signs of respect. You need to show respect. That boy don't have the respect. And then to go to the mother. The mother agree with Reese. The mother do need to talk, and she has to talk to her kids. She need to talk to her kids one on one. Need to talk to her kids all together, and she need to talk to her kids with him in the room, and they need to understand and respect his space because this is how he make his living. This is how he helped pay the bills in the household, and they need to step up. Now, I had asked that question too. I was thinking when he wasn't there, who was watching those children? Uh, and if they were watching themselves, then yeah, that's how they act. Then the oldest one has to step up, become a little bit more mature, and look here, we need to do things differently. So now quitting, he don't want her to work. He want her to work from home so that she
No,
can
he
stay
said,
and
"I
watch.
want you to work for me."
No, not for him, for the children.
That's what he
He want
said.
say what?
Oh, Sean is saying he wants her at home so she can take care of those kids. Truly,
But he actually said like
yeah, I
he's
get it.
giving
He
them the
said
9 to 5, give it to me.
work for me, but I'm kind of with Sean.
Yeah,
He's probably really
yeah.
wanting her to
Oh
be there
yeah, oh
for those
yeah,
kids.
yeah. He ain't had to be no dad. His kids don't live with him.
Right. And then too, he needs to step up because of the simple fact that he has those kids now, and now he needs to become a father figure and stepdad and step in, and he needs to do his part into getting that relationship to the point to where they are willing to listen to him and going to respect him and go from there and do what that to help him out. So he needs them to step up and he needs to step up as well. And then in that conversation, he needs to exhort his authority and they need to accept it. And the mom needs to back him up in that so that the children know that, okay, we do need to listen to him when he asks us stuff to do stuff and not be asking all those questions, because kids need to stay in kid places. These grown folks, just adults, so be a child. And then too, it's gonna be kind of I see it be hard on the kids because the kids had to fend for themselves, and now you got this man coming in. So it's a lot of give and take that both sides going to have to do in order for that to work out. And like I was saying, and then the also with the quitting the job thing, for her, she don't wants to because of the insurance because they was pregnant. She shouldn't wants to not only because of the pregnancy because let's say you're not pregnant, do you still gonna now consider quitting to work with him for him? And the answer should be no, because you still have to take care of those other kids' medical needs. And so if you got the benefits to tend to those kids now, don't just up and quit unless he can give you better benefits or if he can make enough money to where you don't need to have a supplement plan. So that's something also that they need to sit down and talk about and going forward.
I didn't think about that. The
Mhm.
kids. Yep.
Yeah. So the next couple we saw was Skylar and Nathan. Alrighty. So last week, Skylar and Nathan had got into it. They had went on to a date. They had went on a date together, and Skylar answered the phone for a guy that was calling her. Granted, I will say I don't think that that was cool for her to do on a date, but Nathan, his behavior was crazy. So that incident flows into this episode. Okay, so we see at the beginning Nathan is with this guy Barry. He says that Barry is family, but he never really explains how he's family because he said he's like a brother, he's like an uncle. But we do learn that Barry had just gotten out of prison. And so Nathan tells Barry about what happened the previous night. And, so Barry was giving him some advice. He's like, does this seem like the type of girl that you would want to get married to or whatever? And, he lets him know that his behavior wasn't really cool. So Skylar ends up talking to Nathan. And she's like, hey, let's go to a park. It's a nice day. Nathan's like, you want to talk to me, don't you? And she's like, yeah. And so they meet up, they talk. And I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling that Nathan is a hothead, and I don't think that this is going to be an isolated event, him behaving like that. But I don't know. Who knows? All right, thoughts on Nathan and Skylar?
Which one got out of jail?
The older gentleman.
No, I'm sorry. Out of the two.
Oh, it was her, Skylar. She just got out.
That was my first time watching the episode, the show. And when I saw how he acted, I thought that he was the one that was in jail and she was, dating the inmate.
Oh, he's been in now.
Oh, he
been
has
quite a few times. Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Now, what he did at the table when she answered the phone, I agree that she shouldn't answer the phone. What he did was something that I would love to have done if I'm on a date with someone or I'm trying to spend quality time with someone and they prefer to be texting someone else or on the phone with other people. I would love to just take the phone and hang it up or say, hey, this is my time, hang it up or something like that. But I get that he should not have done that because you're just not supposed to do stuff like that. Yeah. But
he came off looking like a hothead,
yes,
like he don't know how to control his anger.
Right. So I get it. I understand. Would love to have done it myself, but I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it,
And the other thing that he did that rubbed me the wrong way is when he was discussing with her about that guy on the phone, he called that dude the N-word. He used the N-word.
Oh, I didn't catch that. But
yeah,
did they blur it out?
Yeah.
The dude was black?
I don't know what race he was, but I think he was just saying it. Like, you answered the phone for this,
Oh, I might have to go back and watch that because I didn't catch that. That's not cool.
Yeah, he said it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's.
I think they would have edited that. That could get them like protesting against something.
Yeah, but but that's the thing. Like, he allowed his anger to just go overboard to a whole nother level. Whereas Skylar truly did do something wrong, but it's like your reaction in doing all of that was unnecessary.
Right. So, minus the N-word part, because that makes me not even want to say it was the rest of the stuff. However, I was going to say before I got that little bit of information that when he went to the scene to apologize, I believe she should have apologized first because she should not answer that phone because you're on a date with your man, and so when someone else calls, you do not answer the phone,
especially if it's somebody of the opposite sex.
Right. Now, if it's
unless it's your brother or your daddy.
Yes. Right. And if it's an emergency, I understand, answer the phone. But it's another friend or another ex-lover or someone else that might be interested in you. You don't do that to the person that you're spending time with because you're supposed to give that person your time. And y'all supposed to be spending time together. And for her to answer the phone, to me, that's like, okay, you really don't want to be here with me. You wants to be somewhere else. And if you want to be somewhere else, go be somewhere else. Go do your thing with whoever it is you want to be with. Don't waste my time. And then, like I said, now bring in the N-word. He shouldn't have said that. And it does show that you have some bias or bigotry behavior inside of you for you just to automatically assume that it's a N person and whoever is on that phone is an N-word.
The thing about it is that he was answering that phone on FaceTime, so he could see what the race of the person was. Even though I get the feeling that it wasn't a black, but you can't always tell by a voice. So I guess I shouldn't go there.
Yeah. So now I wonder if he would have been just as hot headed if it was a non N word person. So just the fact that it was a black person, that's bring you to acting that way. Then yeah, you got some serious issues going on, brother. And he needs to address that. And then also, she, when they were sitting on the table, not the table, at the bench, pointed out how the guy would do something, apologize, do something, apologize. And she wants to know how we can stop this from going forward. And I think his response was, don't answer the phone. But that doesn't answer the question for her. How do
Yeah.
you stop this behavior from going
Yeah.
forward?
I felt like they really didn't get anywhere with that
Right,
conversation.
right. Because he needs to do. It's okay to say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to do. But if he has a behavior pattern of showing that's how he responds to stuff, then whatever he's doing is not working, and she see it's not working. So then she need to ask herself, is she willing to stay in that type of relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Because who's to say that the next time it won't be worse? Because he took the phone out of her hand, jacked the phone out of her hand, and slammed it on the table, I think. Or but the fact that he just jacked the phone out of her hand, that's a little bit too aggressive. And so when you do that, something like that in public, what you going to do behind closed doors? You're going to take the phone from me and throw it at the wall and break the phone?
Yeah,
Or what
because he has some anger issues. That's like when he had left her at the restaurant, and then he called her on the phone after he had left her, and he overhears a guy saying, "Here's a shot, welcome home." And so he turns around, comes back to the restaurant. He grabbed the shot off the table, threw the shot.
so I didn't see all of that. I just saw that.
See, I don't know why this is not funny, but
No, no,
I
no,
don't
no.
know, for some reason I'm laughing right now. I'm
It
sorry.
is
Yeah,
funny,
because
but
it's
it ain't.
actually not funny. Um, yeah,
No,
he
what
has
is the
anger
shot?
issues he needs to handle.
What is the shot? The shot of what?
I'm
Alcohol.
not for sure.
It was
I think
like
it was
dude brought her
brown.
a shot of something,
Oh no,
like
I didn't understand
bourbon
you
or
saying
something.
shot. I didn't know what a shot
Oh, it
was.
was a shot of liquor. I'm
Okay.
Yeah, it was
sorry.
a liquor shot. It
I
was a
didn't need
liquor
the brand
shot.
name. I didn't need the brand name. I was just
But
wondering.
she was saying that dude like randomly did that, and she think he did it to egg on the dude because they're in a small town.
So they
And he
did a
decided he
shot
already
because
got
of who
mad.
Hmm?
So they was taking a shot because of what he did to her.
No. He bought her around a shot. Like he bought a shot. He gave her a shot. He took a shot. He's like, "That's for you," and then he ran off. So it probably was weed, but she was on the phone with him when it happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
so he
And she
overheard it.
knew the guy. She said the guy owed her money. So she was like, would you give me the shot to pay me back?
oh, okay. And then he saw that and he came, drove back to pick
He
her up.
actually
Oh,
just
he heard
heard
it.
it
He heard it on the
over
phone
the
and he
phone.
U-turned or something.
It
I don't know.
came back
Yeah.
and
Oh,
grabbed the shot
That's
and
how
threw
he ended
it.
up back at the place with her because she eventually
Mhm.
left with him.
And then
hmm.
that time when he left, he took her with him.
Now was he her ride to the place
Yeah,
and back?
They rode together, yeah.
Oh, so he left and was gonna
yeah, he
just
had left her.
So
but
yeah, in the last one, like she was like, I'm gonna stay and finish my food because he was being to me irrational.
Yeah, he
uh,
was trying to make her leave, but she was like, They say
gotcha.
he's got some anger issues.
Yeah, he does. If you're gonna do something like that, drive back and
Yeah,
take a shot and throw it. So yeah, that's weird. Yeah, he got some issues he need to work out. He got some things he need to work out. Uh,
yeah.
but uh, but yeah, because at first, like I said, just seeing the part with the phone thing, I was like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I
there's something else I forgot to mention. She had went to her mom's house and she told her mom what had happened. And so her mom, I feel like, was giving her good advice, like, okay, do you think he could, potentially go higher? And then you're living with this person, but you don't really know yet how they react to certain things. So for me, that's a bad look. Our first disagreement, even though I should not have answered that phone, but to know if I make you mad, this is the level that you take
Mm-hmm.
things to.
right, because once you're in the house together, like I was saying, how far you going to take it?
Yeah.
You know, uh, how if you're gonna And then with the mom was saying that she's more concerned about the daughter getting back into using,
Yeah.
so that type of behavior could cause her to relapse and get back onto whatever it is that she was on to try to relax herself, and because she wants to be with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, she really need to consider her considered everything, so before they go into any further. And yeah, that's what I got.
I don't know. That's They were a couple that I thought was gonna be okay, but I don't know. Them red flags, and then to me it sounds like she's considering those red flags, which is a good thing. A good thing, because to me that's how you end up in an abusive relationship. Real talk. Like when you don't consider the red flags. And I do feel that she was wrong for answering I'm assuming it was a video call or whatever. She was wrong for answering that on a first date out. But if this is a friend who's a legitimate friend, is she never gonna be allowed to talk to him again? Because those are things that I feel like he probably should have talked to her about.
I feel
Like,
like because it was like their first time getting
but I don't. I
out,
think it's
even if as a
anytime
close
that dude
friend,
calls.
she shouldn't have answered.
And I agree with you, but because of not knowing, like, okay, so because it was the first date, but are you saying that for now, and then we at the house and he call again, you gonna snatch the phone again and flip out again? Like, it's one of the things you don't even know till you do it again. But at this point, if you don't do it out of fear, then that's control. If you don't do it out of So it's like you cut off that friend because out of respect or whatever. But if he's saying it ain't the fact that it was a friend, it's the fact that I was on the first date, that's confusing. So either you don't want me to have friends or you don't want me to answer when we're out in public, which is understandable. When we're on a date and it's us, you shouldn't be doing that. But his reaction shows red flags. And I do feel like if it's a legit friend and you knew that was a legit friend, I think the dude was wrong for calling back. I do believe that. Like when he called back,
Oh yeah, oh he was trying to aggravate him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But she started that whole mess because if she hadn't answered the first time, maybe he wouldn't have did that. Kept calling
True,
back.
but when her dude took the phone and hung it and said no, whatever, you call back again, and he was like, "Chill out." You call back again. Now I feel like at this point I would question our friendship. Like, okay, so what are you doing to the dude? To the dude, because you see that's like putting me in a potentially dangerous situation. You keep doing that. What if he is aggressive, and what if he did hit me because you won't stop doing that? Like, I would question that. Second of all, especially when to me, if somebody else may answer the phone, if I'm calling my best friend and the woman answer the phone and she aggressive, get your woman. I'm just your friend. But if this is what it is, we ain't gotta be friends. That's how I feel. Um, but I wouldn't keep calling back to start stuff with that woman to make that woman potentially like put her hands on a man. But I did understand why she was like, "Do we paying for this food? Let me finish my food." She could have boxed it up, yes, but in theory, like he was being extra, extra. Like I think he's extra aggravated because that dude kept calling back. Um, if he had gave her a phone back, maybe she could have turned the ringer down. So I don't know, something to like avoid that reaction. But the fact that he was like, um, "I'm done and let's go," and it's like to me that was a bit much. That was to me kind of scary, where it's like, "Oh, let's go," and it's like I'm supposed to just up and jump and just we just gonna leave this restaurant because you're like, "Oh, I'm so angry, I can't do it." And then when they talked in the park, he was like, "Well, when I'm feeling like that, you need to just take my side." But it's like, but what if you're wrong? Does she take his side every time he's irrational just because he's an irrational person? Because in that opinion, in my opinion on that, then that's a controlling thing. And you're only doing it because you're scared of the response versus concerned. And that's where I feel like it's red flags because you're asking her to do something out of being told to do it versus her agreeing with doing it or her feeling like I understand why I'm doing it, but it's just like, oh, when I'm irrational, you just go along with it. Are you gonna do that when she's irrational? You just gonna go along with it if something happens and she's like, you know what, screw you, blah blah blah, like he did.
But you know something, when he was talking to Barry, he said something very interesting. Um, because they were talking, about the situation with them,
Mm-hmm.
and Barry said, you like them. I'm at
Toxic.
it right now. I don't know what it was that Barry said, but it was
He
like
said
high
something like
strung or
toxic.
toxic, something like
Yeah, he
that.
said
And
toxic.
and so Nathan had said, well, I don't like a basic bitch.
Yeah. And
So
that's
I
the
think
thing
he's
is,
used to kind of a more toxic woman. And maybe, a more toxic woman puts up with that kind of stuff. And that's why he
and
just
that
went.
is true. That is true. Because again, my own personal experience, like I had a relationship, I sped out all that stuff like how he did, peeled out, and then I called back like, why you didn't stop me? And the person was like, I never asked you to leave. And it was to me a turning point of, oh dang, it showed me how immature I was acting. But I really feel like he hasn't had that recollection of, oh dang, yeah, I was being extra. Like to me, he's like, I was being extra, but when I'm extra, um, be on my side. And it's like, no, no, no. Because if you're wrong and you're extra, no. If you're correct and you're correct, but you handle it properly. And I did like the fact that she said, okay, basically to an extent of, you can keep saying I'm sorry, but when your actions don't show that, you just keep saying I'm sorry, but then you're doing the exact same thing. Like, then what is she supposed to do? So you being extra and you're like, okay, I'm sorry for being extra, but you're not changing. You're still constantly being extra. And he's shown that a couple of times since she's been out of jail. And I'm like he's an extremely emotional man.
He
She really needs to evaluate if she can deal with that because I don't feel like she's an emotional woman like that. And I think she ain't used to that from a man, and he's very emotional. Because even when he flipped out in the episodes with the when her mom was giving her better gifts, he was getting all mad, and he got like went in the restaurant, and it was like only a cop him to go pee, and he's I had to go outside, and he was like had to get himself together because he was like
he's very high strung.
to
Yeah,
me it's
I think that.
acting.
But I want to comment on the point. I get what you're saying. How when you said that you left, and the man had said he didn't tell you to leave.
Mm,
Uh, on the other side of that coin, if a person was to do that same thing, y'all got an argument or whatever disagreement, and you storm out and you leave, and then you call and say, "Hey, why you didn't call me or anything?" I think that person would feel like, okay, you didn't call me, and you said, "Well, I didn't tell you to leave. You left on your own." Yeah, but there's to me like you show there's some kind of concern or something. It's like, well, hey, because to me it's like you showing you do care about the individual. The individual just left, and
I
then
was
it.
being toxic.
Okay, then. All
No,
right.
like literally,
All
I peeled
right.
out of the driveway on purpose. I slammed doors. I slammed the house door on my way out. I slammed my car door on the way out. I was not getting the response I needed, so I peeled out of his driveway. And to me, that was extra. I was being immature and I was being extra, but I wanted attention. And when he didn't call me, I called him when I got down the street and I'm crying. I'm like, "Why you didn't call me?" And I'm crying because I'm like, "You didn't even stop me." And the whole thing was, I never stopped to say, okay, let's talk about why I'm mad. I can't remember exactly what made me mad, what triggered me, but it was something immature. I do remember that. And I wanted a negative response. I wanted him to argue, but I was arguing with him. I wanted him to argue back. He didn't argue back, and I'm like, screw you, whatever. Slamming doors, packing stuff, zipping bags heavy, you know what I'm saying? Throwing them in the trunk, slamming trunks, getting in there, peeling out. And I'm like, ain't nothing working. But in my mind, I'm like, you don't care because you're not even trying to see if I'm okay. You're not trying to see what's going on. I'm peeling out. You hear me peeling out?
And
I'm
that's
peeling
the
out in your
point I was
neighborhood at
trying to make.
nighttime.
Right there is
People
the
gonna be
point I
like,
was
why
trying to
she
make.
peeling out?
That the fact that if he would have called, that would have showed that he had some concerns or shown
No,
that he cared.
that showed that I'm not gonna play into your petty. Like, I'm not saying that it wasn't okay that he didn't call me. but I legit was being immature. Like, I don't know if other people had that moment, but like that was a moment for me. Like, I went from a marriage where in the end of the marriage we were toxic to each other, and that's what I was used to. I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna throw my phone and break stuff. I'm gonna do this. So then when I get with him, he like, I don't do that. You can talk to me when you're ready to talk. We'll talk. He didn't not answer my call. He didn't like block me. He didn't say, "Oh, I ain't talking to you because you acted a fool." As soon as I called, he answered, and I'm like, "Well, why you tell me? Why you ain't stop me?" He said, "I never told you to leave." What could I say? He never said get out. I decided I'm getting my stuff and I'm leaving, and I'm slamming, zipping, shutting, hitting, peeling. I did exactly what he did. Whereas the other person was calm, like she was like, I don't want to leave. I want to finish my meal. Like it's not this serious. Like, can we finish our meal? Like we paid for this wine, we paid for this food. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we sit here and have our date? Like yes, it was a mistake that happened, but can we? You don't even know if she would have apologized at that moment because you're too busy peeling out. You get in that big old truck and peel out down the road. It looks immature on his side because he, to me, didn't even give her a chance to even say, like, I'm sorry, nothing. He just peeled
Yeah,
out.
then he left her at a restaurant, a bar, or whatever it was at nighttime.
And then while on the phone, it's like, oh, they buy you drinks? You know what I'm saying? And so now, mind you, you've been drinking wine. If the police pull you over, you have been drinking. So you're acting irrational on a level it shouldn't even be. Shouldn't be. And I was too that day. I had some wine and I was acting irrational. You go back and you walk straight up to the table, you go straight for the shot. Didn't even look at her face. Grab the shot, throw it over into the water. Now you done poison the fish. Oh, selfish stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh, selfish stuff, hurting the wildlife in the water. But it's just like then your first thing is like, let's go, let's go. And it's like he can't hear anything because he's tunnel visioned on red, and his thing is you let that person call, you answer that call, and when I said I'm angry and I'm ready to go because of this, you were like, I want to actually eat my food, which was to me, maybe it wasn't the best response, but it wasn't irrational. But he still couldn't see past that. And then on the next day, it was like, I understand what I did wrong and I'm sorry. But when I'm like that, go along with me. No, nobody should go along with toxic. Nobody. If you're not a toxic person, you don't have to. Now, mind you, had old boy called me and been like, where you going? Get back here. I would have came back and we probably would have kept arguing. Or something else would have triggered me and I'd have did it again. But I never did it again from that point because I was like, he showed me that he's not immature. And he was like, I never told you to leave, so you left because you wanted to leave. I didn't ask you to leave. I didn't want you to leave. I never told you to. And I was like, oh, shoot. What can I say? I was toxic that night. Okay. So to me, two toxic people will continue toxic until they realize I don't want toxic no more. A untoxic person, which I don't think she's toxic, and him being a toxic person is going to either take her giving in to his toxicness or leaving because she can't take it, or them talking and him having a turning point of, you know what, I'm gonna lose her if I keep doing this. When it's valid, but to me, his response was way above and beyond what happened. Now he could check her for being like, "No, why the dude keep calling me though?" All right, well, call him back and show me in front of me that you're gonna tell this dude quit, chill out, and then that might have been the end of it. But I don't know, maybe that's toxic too. I don't know.
Okay. So the last couple was Gabby and Chris. All right. I'm gonna make this super short and sweet because y'all know how I feel about this whole situation. I don't understand why we're still watching them on TV after what they're going through in real life. Okay, so they go over to Gabby's mom's house. You know, her mom is just being straight rude to Chris. And then she finally asks him about if he's cheating on Gabby. And of course he's gonna say no. And you know, I'll just say that's pretty much the basic part of what happened, right? And so she ends up telling them both to leave. They both left the house or whatever. And the next scene we see Gabby, and she's alone, and she reveals that her and Chris have broken up and that he had put his hands on her. and she now has a restraining order against him. So she tells us the details of what happened that day, and and says that basically she wishes she can go back in time and just erase that she ever even met him. So that was Gabby and Chris. So any thoughts on them? That's all that I'm giving them.
I'm only assuming. Well, you know what? They could, once it all came out to the public, they could have chilled and just cut their scenes. But because they didn't, I'm assuming they just let it get up to that point.
Maybe.
I don't know. But either way, it's done now. We've been revealed on all the secrets. She might go to jail. She might, you know what I'm saying? He hit her and all that stuff. He in jail. Now that we know that, I would assume that they won't be on nothing else. Because I really think that to even bring her on with anybody else would be stupid. Um, and to continue on with her story, like to me, she gave a good domestic violence like scenario, like, hey, if somebody's treating you like this, they doing this, leave before it gets abusive to the point where you fighting a man for 2 hours, which I'm like, that's sad. And I can't believe he did that to her. Um, it's really sad. I think it was fueled by money too, because he kept saying like, I paid for this, I paid for that. This apartment is mine because I paid for it. And I'm like, and that's probably part of the reason that as a woman, maybe you don't just take all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like he sent all that money and she was just blowing it on whatever or saying I'm buying us an apartment, I'm buying this for us. Well, you create a scenario that you paid for this, I'm getting it for us. So he put in his mind like, I ain't leaving this apartment because I bought it for us. And that created this alpha male thing where he's like, no, I paid for it. Which in reality, I think she went on live and said it wasn't true. She wasn't paying for it. But you can't prove that you didn't spend his money on that and you told him that on camera. What's that man supposed to think? Not to say that the abuse was warranted, because it was not. But I can see how he didn't want to leave when you saying, get out my house. I paid for it. If I'm paying half the rent, pay half, whatever, why would I leave? Why would I leave? Granted, the only reason to leave would be because typically a male has to leave because if the female is saying it, the police may take her side, possibly. But if I'm paying half, like, how can you kick me out of something that's mine too? That's a tough situation. And so, I don't know. And then they husband and wife, so you can't even say don't do it because you ain't married. Don't live together. They weren't married, so I don't know. But the reality is that after the abuse stuff came out, to me their story became kind of irrelevant because now, like that's pretty serious, and I don't really care to know no more of his story. And with some of the stuff she's going through, I really don't care to know too much more of hers either, to be real. So hopefully people heard the domestic violence message and they can get out and maybe even save somebody. But outside of that, I'm done with them too.
Hey, Sean, you got anything for Gabby and Chris?
Nope, no comment.
All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in this week and watching our recap. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe before you leave. And come back and see us. We're here every weekend recapping Love After Lockup. So I'm going to say good night. And until next time, friends. Bye.